There are days when your soul feels heavy, when even the sunrise seems silent, and the weight of unfulfilled hopes presses down like stone. But those are the very days when hope is most powerful, because it's not based on what you feel. It's rooted in what you believe, and belief is often born in the dark, where light hasn't yet come. Yet your heart whispers, keep going. You may feel forgotten, but the Lord has never taken his eyes off you. Not once, not in the tears, not in the silence, not in the years that felt like waste. Because nothing surrendered to him is ever truly lost, and nothing given in faith is ever unnoticed. You have walked through valleys deeper than others know, and you've stood in the hallway between heartbreak and healing longer than most would imagine. But even there, especially there, God has been shaping something in you that storms can't destroy, and that is the holy power of endurance. Your waiting is not punishment, it is preparation. For what God has planned will not arrive a second too soon nor a moment too late, but right on time, when your spirit is ready to carry it with gratitude and humility. You may not see the full picture yet, but trust that every day you keep walking is a testimony in progress. Every moment you resist despair is a victory in the unseen. And every time you choose to trust God again, even with trembling hands, the heavens rejoice, because that's what hope looks like. Faith walking forward, not with answers, but with trust. It's okay to cry, to rest, to admit the journey has worn you down, but never let the enemy convince you that brokenness means defeat. Because broken vessels still carry living water, and even cracked jars glow with glory when the light of Christ shines through. Don't compare your journey to others who seem to fly while you crawl. Some miracles are loud and quick, but some grow slow and deep, hidden from the eye but rooted in eternity. And your story, yes, yours, is not behind, it's being carved with purpose. Every chapter holding beauty even in the tension. When you feel like giving up, go back to the last time God met you, the last time he answered, the last time you said, I never thought I'd make it, but I did. And let that remembrance be the fuel that carries you another day. Because if he was faithful then, he will be faithful now. Hope is not a naive wish. It is the defiant stance of a soul that refuses to stop believing in the goodness of God, even when the ground is shaking and the skis are quiet. And your hope, though tired, is still alive because the one who planted it in you is alive. And he is working behind the scenes, arranging grace upon grace, until the day all the broken pieces come together and form something more beautiful than you could have imagined. So breathe deep, lift your head, whisper your prayers again even if they come out cracked and quiet, because heaven is leaning in, and God is closer than you think. And even now, especially now, your hope is not in vain. Shall I continue this same paragraph style until the full script is complete? I can go on with the same rhythm and depth. Just let me know. Before you give up, listen. Listen not to the noise around you or the doubts inside you, but to the gentle voice of the one who created you, the one who formed you in the quiet before anyone knew your name. Because his message for you today is not condemnation, not disappointment, but compassion, love, and divine reassurance that you are not forgotten and your story is not over. You may be tired, and I know that tired well. The kind that sits in your bones, the kind that prayer doesn't always lift right away, the kind that makes silence feel louder than ever. But even now, in this weariness, God is near, and He is whispering to your spirit, don't give up, because what you see is not the whole picture, and what you feel is not the final truth. You might be standing in the middle of chaos, unable to find direction, but God has not left you to figure it out alone. He is right there in the confusion, walking with you even when you can't feel Him, guiding your steps when your heart is too numb to move. When Elijah was ready to quit begging God to take his life, God didn't scold him. He fed him, let him rest, and met him with a still, small voice that said, "You're not finished yet." You may feel like you have nothing left to give, but your exhaustion does not cancel God's purpose, and your brokenness does not disqualify you from His promises. In fact, it's in the most shattered places that His light shines the brightest. The enemy wants you to believe that stopping now will relieve the pressure, but stopping too soon would only forfeit the miracle that's already on its way, the breakthrough that's building quietly under the surface, the healing that's being woven in the shadows. God sees every tear you've cried in secret, every time you smiled through the pain, every moment you wanted to quit but stayed anyway. And He wants you to know that your perseverance is not pointless. It is sacred. It is powerful. It is the soil where resurrection takes root. So pause, take one breath, and remember this. He is still with you, not disappointed in your weakness but drawn to it, not waiting for you to have it all together but asking you to trust Him even in pieces. He has not brought you this far to abandon you now, not after everything, not after all the prayers and all the promises spoken over your life, some of which are still unfolding, still in motion, even when you see no sign. Do not give up, not today, not here, because the God who parted seas, who raised the dead, who calmed the storm with a word, is the same God who holds you now, and His silence is not the end of the conversation. It's the space before something new begins. Listen closely, beloved. He is saying, I'm not finished, I'm still working, and I will complete what I started in you. You may not feel strong, but that's why grace exists, to carry you where your strength cannot, to whisper hope into the cracks, to lift your chin and show you that even this valley has a purpose. Your life matters, your story is still sacred, and your breath today is evidence that God still intends for something beautiful to rise from the ashes. Keep going, not because it's easy, not because you have all the answers, but because God is faithful, and He hasn't let go of you yet, and He never will. Let that truth be louder than the lies. Let it hold you until your own faith returns. Let it be enough just for today to keep walking. Before you walk away, before you close the door on what you've been praying for, before you decide it's too late or too broken or too far gone, I want you to pause and hear this. God has something to say to you right now, in this exact moment. And it's not anger, it's not disappointment, it's not silence. It's love, steady and unchanging, love that still sees purpose in your path, even if all you see are closed doors and unanswered questions. I know it's been hard. And maybe no one else really knows how close you've come to giving up. How many times you've cried behind closed doors or smiled through a heart that was quietly shattering. But God has seen every tear, every restless night, every whispered prayer when your voice was barely more than a breath. And He wants you to know He's not done yet. Not with you, not with your future, not with your calling. Sometimes, when we're tired, we think the delay means denial, that the silence means God has stepped back, but His silence isn't absence. It's often the sacred stillness before the miracle, the deep quiet where He is working in ways we can't yet see, preparing things our hearts couldn't handle all at once. You may feel stuck, like nothing's moving, like your prayers are bouncing off the ceiling. But heaven hears you, and more than that, heaven is responding, just not always in the way we expect. The Israelites walked in circles for years before the walls came down, and Jesus waited until the fourth day to call Lazarus out of the tomb. Because what looks like delay to us is perfect timing to God. And what seems hopeless is often where He does His most powerful work. If you've lost strength, that's okay. Lean into His. If you've lost vision, trust that He still sees. If you've lost confidence, know that His plan doesn't depend on your perfection, only your willingness to trust again. Don't believe the lie that nothing will ever change or that it's too late. God is not bound by our clocks or calendars, and He's not intimidated by how long you've been waiting or how broken things appear. Remember how He spoke peace to the wind, how He opened prison doors in the middle of the night, how He turned weeping into joy. And if He did it before, He will do it again. Not because you've earned it, but because that's who He is. Faithful, merciful, near to the brokenhearted, and never late. This may be the moment that turns everything. Not because your situation instantly shifts, but because your heart decides not to give up, not today, not like this. Because hope is still alive, even if it feels faint, and God is still speaking, even if it's a whisper. So don't walk away yet, not when He's still writing your story, not when you're on the edge of something you can't yet see. He's not done. You're not finished. This isn't the end, it's the middle, and the middle is where transformation begins. Keep going, keep trusting, keep breathing. He's still with you.